You're just going to start with your head supported on the roller at one end, your tail at the other end, and your feet maybe 4 to 5 inches apart. So we want your feet lined up so that the middle of the foot, like the third toe, is in line with the center of your kneecap and also your hips. If you want to use a ball to squeeze between your legs, that can be helpful to keep yourself organized here and engage both the inner thigh and the lower abdominals. So once you're here, the arms are outstretched, and you have the back of your hands resting on the ground. Hands a little bit lower than the height of your shoulders is usually the most comfortable. And now here, feet steady, think of them sinking into the floor, and you'll keep the hands pressing into the floor on each side of you as you slowly rock from side to side. So you think your armpit and your hip go down and around the curve of the roller, to the right and then to the left. Do a little massage here between your shoulder blades and across your sacrum, the big triangular bone close to the base of your spine. And just go back and forth here a little bit to feel the weight shift of your feet. You also get a little massage across the base of your skull. So all those are points where we tend to hold tension. Stress builds there, it gets held in the tissues of the body. So this is a great way to try to release that. And then also, you can feel how this is opening up your chest. Particularly if the hand stays grounded, you reach away from it, and the pecs on that side will feel the stretch. Going from back and forth here. And then noticing also the shift of weight in your feet. So when you come back to center next time, stay there. And as you're here, just feel how the neck has a curve that comes off of the roller, and so does the waistline. With feet solidly grounded through other parts of your spine. Now, as you inhale, we curve the arms up and hug the air above the chest. Wrapping in like you're embracing someone here that you haven't seen but you love. Just give them a nice hug, and then pull the arms open slowly out and down to the side. So we're going to use the full inhale to lift the arms, curve the arms, come up, gather the air in. And then exhale, pull the arms apart, use the full exhale to go down and rest your heads gently on the ground. Inhale, arms rise. You're using a ball between your thighs. It should be above your knees into the muscles of your inner thigh. And you're just pressing it in pretty lightly, like maybe just 10% effort. Just enough to engage the inner thigh muscles and be sure that the inside edges of your feet are connected to the floor. So we're coming up again on the inhale, the shoulder blades broaden on your back as the chest narrows. Then as the arms expand and open, you feel the blades knit together underneath you, hugging the roller. One more time to rise on the inhale. And exhale to release slowly, resist gravity, go down a little slower than your arms would like to drop. That's beautiful, good job. Now we're going to lift the arms straight up to the sky. They're vertical here, parallel to the walls. And as you exhale, let the blades melt down. Then hug the roller under your body. So inhale, you lift the hands up, shrug the shoulders, lift the hands as if you're trying to touch the ceiling above us, and then exhale, the collarbones widen and the blades softly fall to the ground. The arms are staying vertical here, and it's just a shoulder shrug up. So don't bring the arms sideways. So they go up, shrug the shoulders, lift them, and then exhale, keep the arms pointed to the ceiling, but pull the blades down. That's it. The elbows don't need to bend. It's a small movement here. The blades only lift, the fingers only lift maybe 2-3 inches and then sink down. There we go. Going up here with the hands, reach for the sky, keep lifting the fingers to the ceiling as you pull the blades down and widen the chest. This is called protraction when the arms lift and retraction when they lower, but you can forget that immediately, just in case you are curious. So we lift up. Oh wait, this is wrong one, everyone's curious. Bring this down. And we lift again, shrug the shoulders, lift them, exhale, release them down here. And one more time. See how nice that feels to get that kind of gathering of the blades around the roller and then the release when the arms rise. Now from here, we turn the palms forward as you inhale and exhale, glide the arms along at the side of your body. Reach your fingers towards the end of your mat. Now on the inhale, we lift the arms up to the ceiling, the weight of the shoulder blades sink to the ground, and exhale. As the arms go back by your ears, the blades slide towards your waist. And then we lift the arms again, push them through the air, and push the air down as you exhale, bringing the hands, palms flat on the mat. You're drawing two parallel rainbows in the sky here on either side of your body. Inhale, lift to 90 degrees, and exhale, your fingers trace down from the apex of the arm towards the ground. And then you reverse, inhale, lifting the arms. And exhale, slide them forward, close to the body. Then gently here through the fingers and the palm. So as the arms go up, you're actually rotating the collarbones inside your chest wall. They're rotating back to bring the arms in this arc, up to the sky and back behind you. And then the collarbones spin forward around their axis to bring the arms up to the sky and then down long at your side. Actually feel this. Let's take your right hand to your left collarbone and just lift the left arm up. Hold on sort of the middle of the collarbone here, and then as you press the arm back, you can feel the collarbone spin. Everybody feel that? Lift the arm, and now the collarbone is spinning forward inside the chest wall. And then let's switch your arms, switch your hand on the collarbone, on the side of the arm that's moving. So in my case, I look to the right arm and have my left hand to the right collarbone. I can feel it moving under my fingertips as the right arm rises and sinks. Yeah. So the collarbone acts like the axle of a wheel to move the arms in space. So here we go. We're taking them up one more time. Inhale, the arms lift. But also in Pilates, when we exhale, take the arms back. Traditionally, we hold the natural curvature of the spine and only take the arms as far back as you prevent yourself from overarching your back. And then when you lift the arms up, the shoulders sink, and you exhale, bring the arms all the way down. And the reason to do that is to strengthen the front line of your body, including the abdominal wall. So prevent yourself from arching additionally. This will also actually stretch your lats on the back of your body. And then you bring the arms forward and exhale all the way forward and down. Now we'll bring the hands to your shoulders, pull the elbows in by your waist, and we circle. Inhale up, exhale wide around and down. So you're moving the arm around the uterus on the shoulder socket, but you're also now thinking of lifting the scapula, your shoulder blades, up and down and around. So really get some mobility here with the whole shoulder girdle, so that you release the neck, take tension out of it, and also out of the upper back. You should feel like you're giving yourself a bit of an upper back massage. And hopefully it'll be one of the nicest parts of your day today. It's one breath, a short inhale, and a longer exhale for every circle that you draw here at your side. And the two arms might be different. So take your time. We're warming up the arm and the rotator cuff muscles here. You never want to force it. You just want to feel it feels right in your body. Now let's reverse. So you're going down and back, forward, around, and in. Again, find the breath. Short inhale, long exhale. Your breath should be audible. When you inhale and exhale almost with a sigh. And we think of here inhaling and letting the abdominal wall expand as well as the chest. And exhale and you knit the whole body together. The navel sinks in towards the spine. One more circle here. And then we can extend the arms forward. Perfect. Full arm circles. Both arms lift in unison and parallel, all the way back by your ears on the inhale. Exhale, circle wide around and forward, palms to the ceiling to the very end. At the end, we turn the palms down. The arms will lift and go up and back. Exhale, circle around, stretch. Fingers can be wide here, palms are spread. Turn the upper arm to turn the palms down. We rise again. Draw those two parallel arcs like rainbows in the sky on your side, and then reach forward and long. Cut the air with the knife edge of your arms. Now let's reverse. So the palms are up, floating off the mat. You sweep them back. Lift the arms as they go past the height of your shoulders, and exhale. Push the air out of your lungs with the lowering of your arms. Inhale, this is very expansive. It's a hallelujah moment. And exhale and dive the arms forward. Keep them working in perfect mirror image, one to the other. And you circle around and back. Arms lift a little as they go further back behind you. Then you reach for the sky and then you lower the hands down at your side. One more, you really feel this opening up your chest wall. You want a nice feeling of ease in the shoulder joint as you go. If you don't, the movement should be smaller. And of course, ask me if you have any questions if you're here, and I can help you adjust so it feels right. The last exercise we're doing right now in this position, we're taking the hands above you, thumbs connect, index fingers connect. We call this diamond arms. The elbows are pointed out to the side. So your hands and wrists are in the same plane as your elbows and your shoulder. And then we're just taking this diamond shape and taking it back to frame your face like it's inside a picture frame. And then exhale, you sweep the shape forward to flip the hands right over the low belly. And again, so it's going back. That's good. And exhale and forward. And if you have a light pressure, thumb to thumb, fingertip to fingertip, you'll feel a little firming up of the inside line of your arm muscles, with that little bit of asymmetric work here. Without pressing so hard, you block your ability to move, right? You want just enough support, just enough tension to feel the work, but not stop it. One more, taking it back. And exhale and pull it forward. And then arms at your side. And we're sliding off the roller. Okay, good. So from here, just put it away. And we're going to lay down on your back. Just take a minute here to feel how different your back feels than it did earlier. If you stretch your legs forward and it's comfortable, you can really relax and feel the legs actually rotate. If you're a little tight in the hips, that might not be as comfortable for your back, so bending the knees would be an option there. But just breathe into this, a deep inhale, and then a longer exhale. And let your body settle into the ground for the support of the mat under you. Okay, so next we're going to do a little bit of a roll back here. But to initiate, in case there's anyone here who hasn't done this class before, we're going to just start with the knees bent, feet are grounded, heels a few inches forward of your sits bones. And just for a pelvic tuck and arch, if you think about pressing your waist down, you can feel the pelvis rock here, the tail lifts slightly. You haven't lifted your back off of the mat, you've just curled the end of the spine, the tailbone up towards the ceiling, pressing the waist down, and then exhale, bring that back to neutral so that you're at the natural arch in your spine. And then we'll do this again. So exhale as we do this pelvic tuck. This is sometimes called a tilt in physical therapy, or a posterior tilt of the pelvis for anatomy books. And then let's go ahead and release it back. Now, if you take your thumbs to your hip bone crest, press them in, and then take the index finger, maybe the middle finger, onto your pubic bone here, right? When you're in a neutral spine, those four bony points should be level, yeah? And then notice if you press your waist down, just sink it. Now the fingers are higher than the thumbs. It shows that the pelvic girdle is on a tilt. And then you would go ahead and release it back, so those 4 points are even. Good. The legs are steady, and we're just moving the pelvic girdle around the thigh bone and the femurs. And then release. Is that making sense for anyone? Does anyone want me to come over and just check to see what you're doing? Yes. Continue. So we typically exhale to do the pelvic tuck as the waist pushes down. And release it. So you're just tilting like this. There's your tuck. And that's your neutral. Good, got it. That's all good. All right. Now, if you want to go into what we call a pelvic arch, which is the opposite, once you come back down to the neutral, you continue dropping your tail into the ground, and the arch in your back is going to increase. Yeah, just like that. Good. And then we'll move through the neutral to the tuck, pressing the waistline down, and then move through the neutral to the arch, pressing the tailbone down. Feel that? And as you do it, notice that your spine is responding to the movement of the pelvic girdle here, so that there's a little bit of mobility going up the spine. Your neck will even sort of mirror what's going on lower down, and your head will tilt and move as well. And that's normal. You don't have to do it that way if you like block the movement, but we want to feel the movement right now. All right, so then from this position, we're going to pull the right knee into your chest. Oh, you can get rid of the ball if you had one, between your legs. And then pull the left knee in and extend the left leg up to the ceiling. Elbows wide. Lift your head off of the mat, look down at your belly, and then push both legs forward to rock forward and up to come up to a seated position. Good. And from here, let's use your TheraBands or roll back. You want to take the band, the center of the band around the wall of the foot and the arches, the toes are above the band. And then holding onto the band here. You can do it without if you're used to that. I would say knees slightly bent is helpful. Now sit upright right on your sits bones. There's your neutral spine. Just like when you're laying down, you have a little arch in the mid-back here. And then we start looking at the horizon. From this point, curl the tail up. So we're rounding the low back. You sit behind your sits bones. And then we continue to go down, lifting the tail through the legs. We've got to go over the sacrum, feel that big bone there. Go down over the hips to the waist. Come down onto the ribs. If the shoulder blade tips touch, this is what we call an upper ab curl in Pilates. We're going to go all the way down, lowering the shoulders, then the neck and the head lay back. To lift up, lift your head off the ground, tip your chin to your chest, look down your midline. You can pull with the arms, you're lifting the shoulders, leading the ribs in the front, and then peel the spine off. Go ahead and dive down over your knees. Elbows pull back, then stretch in your back, and then zip your back up an imaginary wall from the bottom to the top. So it's very important to move the spine sequentially. We call this articulation as you move every vertebra one by one. Now from the top, we look down, curl the tail up. I'm going to pull my elbows wide so you can see my spine. And then you're going down here, you curve your back, try to get every inch of the spine down. If you're wearing a shirt that had horizontal stripes, you would take one stripe down after the next. All the way down here to lay the head down. And your legs may have straightened out at this point for a little longer basic support. Lift your head, lift your chin to your chest, coming up with the shoulders, elbows wide and forward will help you come up. Press in, good. The breath will help you too, diving over and down. Stack the spine, lifting up. And one more like this. So elbows a little wide, you can pull into the strap for support, press the heels into the ground to anchor yourself. Roll the pelvis here around the back of your legs, come down slowly, reach all the way down, come down here to the ground. And last time to rise. Lifting up the head, pull, feel that work in the abdominal line here, rounding over the legs and curve your body forward, feel the stretch in the hamstrings, the back of your thigh, and then come all the way up. As you progress, you'll end up doing this without the TheraBand, but use it while you need to. And it was more difficult for you. I just realized you had a yellow band, which is here. Here, all of the companies have different colors, but that's the lightest one. So a heavier band would have been more helpful for you.
Okay, I assumed the lighter band would have been helpful.
Yeah, it would be helpful maybe for like some chest opening work, but not for that exercise in particular. So actually, why don't you go grab the green ones here are the heavy ones, the red ones are medium. So either of those should be good for the single leg circles. Okay, so we're going to just take your band around your right foot. And then you can roll yourself down. So again, find that articulation of your spine, go all the way down here. And then we'll lift the leg up to the ceiling. So ideally you want the leg vertical. If your hamstrings are tight, the back line of your legs are tight, you may need to bend the knee a little bit in order to get the leg right above your glute and the leg more vertical towards the sky. If you could straighten it, you will. That will happen over time. Slide your elbows forward towards your hip bones and do a soft point through your foot, reaching up through the ball of the foot, the toes curled back like you're wearing a pair of high-heeled shoes. Even before the movie, we affectionately called it the Barbie doll foot. So here we go. We're taking the leg over to the left. We're keeping the right hip grounded. And then we circle the leg low. It comes to neutral, toes point up, and then the toes point out to the right as you bring the leg into external rotation and bring it up to the ceiling. So these circles should feel amazing, right? Keep the elbows grounded. And you pivot from the elbow, so the forearm and the hand follow the angle of the leg and the straps. Now, we are looking to get a stretch in the leg and a little opening in the hip, but we're also equally interested in keeping the pelvis, the whole body, flat on the mat without destabilizing it with the weight and or tightness of your leg. So we do a short inhale, the leg crosses over, right leg to left. Exhale, come all the way down and around, and then put extra weight in the left side before you rotate the leg to the right and bring it up to the top. So think you're heavy on the right, and then the leg moves left. Reach it forward and around, then you're heavy on the whole left side of the body, but the leg goes out to the right side, and you lift it to the sky. Let's pause and reverse. So we take the leg out to the right, the left side sinking into an imaginary ditch under your body, go low, drag the leg across and pull it up. Bring it high enough to feel the stretch in the hamstring and reach again. The shorter the inhale and then the longer the exhale for every single circle, the more you're going to engage your abdominal wall, part of your core, and then so you want to feel as you breathe in fully, completely, maybe go a quarter of the distance around the circle and then exhale for the rest of the circle all the way around. So at the top of the movement, you feel the navel sinking, the abdominal wall contracting, and you almost run out of breath at the end of the movement when you're getting the stretch in the back of your leg. We're going to come all the way up to the top and pause here. And now take both ends of the band in your right hand. Rotate the leg externally, which means that the thigh bone spins so that the knee and the toes point out to the diagonal. Anchor the elbow down and bring the right leg out to the right. Hold the left side heavy. It's cheating to let the foot drop to the ground and pick the left hip up. We're working to strengthen the core as well as stretch the upper inner thigh here. And then just slowly rock the leg a little bit towards your shoulder and away. It's a slight bounce, and here's where that pliability, that flexibility in the strap is helpful. The elasticity in it gives you a little bit more chance to explore the elasticity in the muscles. So we'll lift the leg up to the ceiling, reach it high, and now switch hands as the leg comes vertical. Now the left hand holds the strap. You can extend the right arm out. And then cross the leg over, first keeping the hip down to get the stretch in the outer upper thigh. And if that feels good to you and you want to go further, you can pick up the hip and reach the leg all the way to the far wall. You want to keep the right shoulder blade down, as you can pick up part of the rib cage, the waist, and the hip. And now here, pull the right foot towards your left shoulder, and then spiral the leg internally so the knee and the toes point down to get more of a stretch across the glute into the low back. You would look to your right hand to get a rotation in the cervical spine of the neck as well as the low back. Now exhale, we're going to pull the body down from the left shoulder to the waist to the right hip. It'll lift the leg up to the sky and then give it a little tug. Stretch the hamstring, bend the knee if you need to. You want to keep the strain out of the back of the knee, even though you feel a stretch in the belly of the muscle mid-thigh. And then here we pull the whole knee into your body, the strap to the side, embrace the knee into your chest, and then slide that leg forward. Give both legs a little shake. And rotate them externally so the knees and the toes point out just naturally. Feel the difference in the two sides. So you'll probably feel the right leg feels longer. Also that it's more dropped and connected to the ground. And in fact, that should be the same feeling through the whole right side of your body. It just feels a little heavier and more connected to the floor. Yeah, you feel that? So it's like it's deflated a little bit and the other side is still pumped up. Good. So now we'll pull the left knee in. Pull it tight to the chest, and then we'll pick up the strap and place the center of the band around the ball of the foot and the arch. Lift the leg up. Now once you get the band to the length you like it, right, you can always choke up on it or pay it out. You want to slide your elbows forward towards your hips to ease the shoulders away from the ears. Collarbones are wide, back is supported here. And we lift the leg, feel the stretch in the back of the leg with or without a bend in the knee as your body requires. Yeah. And then point the foot, Barbie doll foot again. And here we go for the circles. Inhale, bring the left leg across to the right, keeping that left hip down, and you circle forward and low, out to the side, external rotation, and up to the ceiling and reach it high. And we bring it over. Short inhale, and then the long exhale follows. You exhale, 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 exhale to the top. And reach again. Circling here, you go low. You think of the right side being grounded as the leg moves to the left. And again, pressing out and feel the stretch. The nice thing about this is you're going to feel the stretch 360 degrees around your leg. My final one, short inhale, go low, and then a long exhale. And the band gives you something to push out into, as well as supporting the weight of your leg. Now, at the top, we reverse, rotate externally, and the left leg goes to the left. Keep the right side heavy, feel the inner thigh stretch, and then bring it across, rotate it internally as it pulls to the right, and then neutral at the top. And again, deep short inhale, long exhale, long leg stretches for the far side of the room, up the wall and into the sky. 2 more. Keep shortening the inhale and lengthening the exhale until you feel that contraction in your low abdominals at the end of the breath at the top of the movement. You do it again. Weight on the right side as the leg goes to the left. More weight on the left side as the leg swings over to the right. And then feel the weight of the leg drop deep into the pelvic girdle at the top. Now we'll take both ends of the band into your left hand. You can extend the right arm out to the side, or you can hold the right hip bone down if that's helpful. And then we rotate the leg externally and bring the left leg out to the left. If the pelvis has tipped up, you've gone too far, right? So you lift the leg until you get the hip bone down on the right side, and then try to take the leg out and low without destabilizing the right side of your hip. All right, rock the leg a little bit towards your shoulder and away. Very gentle, like you're rocking a baby. Going to soothe the leg and make it feel relaxed. And then we come up, lift the leg here, switch hands at the top. Take the leg over, extend the left arm out, bring the leg over and feel that stretch diagonally into the back and across the outer thigh. You rotate the leg internally here, increasing the stretch into the lower back of the glute. And when you pull the leg up towards the shoulder, you can bend it slightly. Be sure you feel a little stretch in the hamstring also here. Now exhale, we come down right shoulder to waist to left hip. To lift the leg up, give it another little tug, reinforce the stretch in the back of the thigh without overstraining the back of the knee. Your body will know what's correct. And then you can fold the knee into your chest and the band comes off into the side. Okay, so once you have it tugged in, release it forward. Take out your legs and then feel the ease in your hips. It feels like someone else's legs are now attached to your body probably. What is that sensation? Why do they feel relaxed? And why are they so long? It's great. So from here, we're moving into rolling like a ball. So you pull the right knee into your chest. You can hold on to the back of the thigh initially. Later, you hold on to the shin. Lift the left leg up and then rock forward and up. Okay. So here, the idea is you want to make your body into a curved spine so that you're as if your body was inside a ball or a bubble. You can use a ball between your thighs to help you, particularly if this is a new exercise for you. Easiest to have your hands behind your thighs. As you advance, the hands go to your shins. So here, edges of the feet together, knees apart, and you curl the tail up. We're doing that pelvic tuck we practiced earlier. Suck the waist back like you just dropped a bowling ball here between the pubic bone and the navel. And then let the feet float up. Elbows widen forward, chin to your chest, look at your abs. Now when we roll, you only go to the shoulder blades, not the neck. So we lift the tail, roll to the tip of the blades, into the air, exhale to come forward to balance point. And this is where you double check to be sure you have enough padding under you. So look down, inhale, lift the tail, shift the weight, you roll back. You prevent your head from smacking into the ground. No head injuries or neck injuries here. Press the edges of your feet together. Because you want to also have some feeling with the inner thighs. Embracing the ball there would help. You look down, we lift the tail, we pull back. Into the air. So we are using a little momentum. And also also particularly the breath as well. So inhale, a little back. As soon as the blades touch, you start your exhale. So the exhale continues you back, but then transfers the weight forward and brings you up to balance. Do one more. Keep your gaze down to your belly. It is tempting to look up at the ceiling, but as soon as you do that, you come out of that rounded curved spine. Does that feel good? So Pilates did a lot of rolling exercises so that, well, there's actually different reasons. One, he considered a massage for your spine. He also was aware that if you were working your body evenly on the right and left side, you would roll in a straight line up and down your mat. So it helps your body get feedback on how you're using the right versus the left side of your body. Because you know if you can roll in a straight line forward, a straight line back, you're working uniformly. And that's important for posture, alignment, and getting the best access to the strength and flexibility your body has. And so we'll see other rolling exercises as you continue to take the class. That's probably the only one today. But you do have to be careful that your back feels comfortable, that you have enough padding underneath it, and that you really keep your gaze down and your tail pulled up to really make your back come in as close to a curve as possible. And it's hard, right? Because this part is like a concave part, and we're trying to pull it back and like find a little bit of stretch there with that work through the abdominal wall. Okay, so here we're going to sit upright for spine stretch. The legs will be apart. If your hamstrings are tight, you probably want to sit on a yoga block or two. So the way you can tell is if you're sitting upright and you can take your hand back here and feel an inverse curve in your spine, you're fine, and you'll be sitting right on top of your sits bones. If, however, when you sit upright, you're behind your sits bone and this part of the back flattens out or rounds, you need to elevate your hips. Yep, so just check because we want to start really vertically here. And it's okay in order to find it if you bend your knees a little bit, but you wouldn't want them like way up here in order to find a good posture. And the reason we're elevating is now you are able to move your spine more, so it's beneficial to you. If you try to just like do it without, like if you need to sit elevated and you're not, you're actually cheating yourself out of the movement and your core work. So we'll extend the arms forward, whether you're sitting on a block, bending your knees or have straight legs, and press the arms down slightly from your triceps and lats to widen the chest and lift it, and let your hip float up into the ceiling as if you're lifting up into your own personal halo and being pulled to the sky through that. Now, look down your nose, tip your chin to your chest, and we're moving the head and then the neck first. So there's 7 vertebrae in the neck. You want to pull the head forward and over without moving the shoulders first. Then the head is going out in an arc and down to the space between your knees. And you're working through your upper back, your mid back, your low back. So here's that sequential movement of your spine, working through the vertebrae one by one. Go down as far as you can, sucking the belly up into the low back where it's tight. So you actually have almost a C-shaped spine, like you're coming over a beach ball here. Now to come up, imagine that beach ball rolling up the front of your body. So you lift from the bottom to the top, and then as you come up, the arms are parallel to the ground. You widen the chest as you lift it and let your gaze be soft on the horizon in front of you. So we look down, tipping the chin, moving the head and then the neck first. Then we move through the upper spine. The thoracic spine is where the ribs are. The lumbar spine is below the rib cage. And you're sucking the waist back, doing a little bit of feeling of the pelvic tuck still, like you're a horseshoe on its side here. And then press to the legs. Sink the tail into the center of the earth, and you zip your back up a wall from the bottom to the top. The head floats free, the shoulders relax. We do one more. So we exhale and go all the way over. Breathe out. Dive forward, you're like a wave coming up out of the ocean and down low onto the beach. And then the inhale lifts you from the bottom to the top. Fill your torso with helium, and you gradually inflate, coming up, up, up. And so you're floating here, ribcage floating over the pelvis, head floating over the shoulders. One more. Look down, exhale, out, over, and down. Breathe out completely. Your breath makes the sound of the ocean as you bring that weight forward onto the beach. And then inhale, feel the undertow pick you up, pull you back, and lift you. Good. And then you lower the arms down. Feel good? Yeah. All right. So from here, we're We're just gonna go and do hundreds, which is typically done at the beginning of the session. Want to give you a little bit more stretch for my people who haven't been here in a while, and for the newbies among us. So we're gonna roll back to that upper up curl, start with the knees folded in, and pump the arms at your side. For hopefully 10 breaths. Typically I don't count, but it should be 10 beats, 10 breaths to make 100 pumps. So anyway, that's how I got the name. With me, it could be anywhere from 40 to 200, so just be prepared. I had a very expensive education, and I can count basically to 3. So here we go. So we can start, your arms can go along your side. We curve the tail up, we round the low back. So we're doing that articulation again. Feel the support of each line of your belly, taking you down just to the tip of the scapula. Pull one knee in, then the other. You keep your head up, squeeze the legs tight, and we pump the arms. Inhaling for 5 beats. Exhale for 5 more. 10, right? And then here we go. So you want to stay curved. Now this can be hard if your back is tight. It's also impossible if you let your knees lift off your navel. So you've got to keep tipping your nose down into your center core here and press the legs tight. Like you're trying to reach your fingers to the far wall and slide your fingertips up and down that wall. Good, you should feel the abdominal wall. Actually, it's a whole line from your jaw to your tailbone. Knit it tight and especially focus on the area from your navel to your tail. Right, we want a long lever holding us up. The abdominal wall line, do that. Hold the rectus line. Now, if you want to, you can extend the legs up higher. There'll be a little more load for the low belly. If it's too much, fold the legs back in. You also, as you advance, the legs will move slowly forward and out, but keep pressing your waistline into the ground. If you go to the point where your back arches and you feel unsteady in your back and worried, you've definitely gone too far. This is maybe your first time doing this in a while or ever. So really be kind to yourself and stay, closer into center is easier. We're going for one more breath wherever you are. And then pull the knees in and lay your head down. And then here it's nice to just turn your head from side to side. If you rock your knees in the other direction, you can have your feet down and the arms extended out. As the knees fall to the left, look to the right. As the knees slide over to the right, look to your left. Just so you know, most people do feel it in their neck, particularly when they first start. The goal is to be coming up to a more vertical position with your upper back, your neck, and your head, and to start building strength into the abdominals to put the work there. But it does take some time, right? But I'll just tell you that because of the different leg positions, you always end up working hard into your core, no matter if you've been doing it for 2 minutes or 25 years. Okay, so I wanted to take advantage of the fact that we have the chairs in the space with us today and do a little bit of work standing for the ballet stretches. So if you don't have a chair, go ahead and grab one. And then when you come back, we're just going to sit, and you can sit on the chair or on the floor, whichever is better for you. I'm going to kind of wake up your feet a little bit so your feet are more aware of the ground before we try standing on one leg. Yeah, it just will be helpful. So what we'll do is, whether you're sitting on the floor or on the chair, is you can cross one leg over the other. And then let's wrap your hand around the forefoot, so you have your thumb over the big toe ball of the foot and the other 4 fingers around the outside edge. So it's like that, right? And then you're taking your same side hand. So if you're using your right leg, it'll be your right hand, cups around the heel. And then we're just going to twist the foot. We're bringing it out like you bring out a wet bathing suit. So you might not think about it, but the heel bone, the calcaneus here, it has a lot of ability to like rock in an arc. And this is amazing, right? Because our feet are designed to work on terrain. We typically just lock them into shoes and walk on a flat surface. Relax. And so you feel that twist, like stretching some of the muscles and working through some of the joints. So just know that 1/4 of the bones in your body are in your feet. It's like astounding, right? So, and if we don't really mobilize those bones, those joints, these muscles, you're losing a lot of your ability of your foot to both be aware and support you in balance, and also just move. Then next from here, we'll just bring the foot in front of you, and you can pull the toes long, wiggle each one. And then we're going to spread the foot open like it's a fan. So your fingers go, you're going to pull the toes apart. It kind of depends like where your toes are. Like people who have bunions, right, where they have a big like pointed area here at the base of their big toe, they may want to pull their toes laterally out to the side. If your toes are cramped, like a lot of people, particularly if you're in flip-flops a lot, they try to grab the floor, grab the ground. And so their toes are curled up and kind of like this, like claws. You may want to pull the toes forward and then pull them up in extension, right? And sometimes, particularly for women who wear pointy-toed shoes for, decades even, right? Their little toe curls around and underneath. So you may want to pull that toe long and pull it out to the side. So kind of look at your feet. We're trying to get the toes to elongate and stretch where they need to. And then you're going to flare them open away from your middle toe. See how the color's changing? Did you get some movement in here? Hey there. And just spread that open. And then you're working through the sole of the foot. So you're going to take your thumb and the lower part of the thumb here on the top of the foot, and the other fingers go underneath. So you pull the toes open and pull the top of the foot wide, and you work all the way up into the heel and then back down again. This is just part of the Franklin Method foot massage. You really push up with your fingertips into the plantar fascia of the foot and push down with the heel of the thumb and the thumb into the top of the foot. And then just extend the legs forward. And I don't know, you feel a difference? If you have your socks off, you'll see a difference in the texture and color of your foot. But you may also feel like that foot is more relaxed, like it automatically drops a little lower than the other one does. And then when you come up to stand, which we'll do next, we're just going to feel the difference in the two. But yes, thank you for reminding me, because I'm likely to forget. So can you feel a difference in your 2 feet? Any description? What do you notice? Or contact. Yep. It kind of flattened down a little bit, right? And you maybe feel like it's a little broader. Yeah. And what?
I said more balanced.
We're balanced, right? So I feel like this whole side has dropped a little bit, but I have more awareness of my foot. So you can actually feel that if you pick up the other foot. And then switch. Yeah. See, like on this one, I can feel my ankle kind of quivering a little bit. It's like not quite sure where to be. On this one, it's like solidly grounded. So that's why before we do balance work, it's a great idea to do some kind of footwork. And typically Pilates classes, we do start with footwork often, like in the equipment. And sometimes even like standing footwork here. Okay, so let's come down and do the other foot. So we're starting just wrapping the opposite hand around the forefoot of the foot here. And then the same side hand, ipsilateral, goes around the heel. And then we're bringing out the foot. So you twist your wrist. It's just like you're wringing out a washcloth. It's that action that you're doing on your foot. And the nice thing is that when your feet feel better, your day improves immensely. Right? And then let's go ahead and have the foot heel down, toes up. Try to pull the toes long. Wiggle them, stretch them. You can pull them up into extension. We can flare them out wide and open. You can work individual toes to bring them back to perfection. or as close as humanly possible. Right? And yeah, you'll see that they're all different, right? At one toe, I broke it when I was a young teenager, and I'm still not sure whether it was the horse that stepped on it when I was grooming him, or like diving off the high board for my test back in the days when pools had high platforms that you dove off of, and then hitting my foot on the edge of the pool on the way into the water. Or what else did I do that day? I think I don't know, I fell roller skating or something.
It's the same day.
Yeah.
Get out.
I was like,
You're
so,
very active.
well, I'm not. Normally I would sit around and read. You know, for some reason, all those things, you know, just aligned. But anyway, that toe looks very different from the others. All right, so you wiggle it, and now we pull it wide. We massage into the sole of the foot and the top of the foot. Try to mold it, pull it apart, broaden it. Okay. And then admire it, support it. Oh, looks 10 years younger and happier, right? So we're coming up to standing, so you can feel that foot on the ground now. And then if you want, you can take the other leg up. Arms out to the side helps balance. But it should feel a lot steadier than the last time you tried it pre-massage, yeah? Good. Okay, so now what we're doing is use the chair. And maybe I'm going to turn this. So let's see. If you're nervous about standing on one foot, you can always bring your chair close to one of the walls or to the podium over there, right? So, yeah, it's smart if you're not sure about this. So we're going to start with standing. Start with the legs in turn out. Those the other toes apart, and we'll bring the right leg up on top of the chair with the leg extended in long and external rotation. Your arms lift up to the ceiling, look up towards your hands, and then you're diving forward with your gaze to the inside of the leg, round your back, curve it, and lead your way down, just like you did in that spine stretch exercise we just did on the mat. And then you can press down through your feet and stack your spine, so the tail and lift, bottom to top. If you want, you can even lift the chest or a little bit of upper back extension, the standing swan in Pilates. And then we come back, bring your gaze to the horizon, look down and dive over. Curve your way over here. Let your hip fall to the ground. You're looking to the inside of the knee. You can bend the knee if you feel like it needs a little bit, the one that's lifted, not the one that's standing. If it feels like it's a little too much stretch in the back of your leg here, arm rises, and then you go over and down again. So balance work is great because it does strengthen, well, number one, this one in particular is strengthening the outside of your standing leg. But you end up using a lot of the core, the muscles really close around your spine in particular, are challenged here to keep the spine aligned as you move. We'll go over one more time, exhale all the way over and down. And of course, Joe Pilates believed that we were as young as our spine was strong and flexible, right? Come back to 7, what's that?
I said I'm counting on that.
I know, right? I'll tell you, I just worked on Zoom with 2 of my clients who just came back from like this amazing around the world trip, with private plane, you know, and then they went to, I don't know, they went to Petra, they went to Bali, they went to Giza, to see the pyramids, you know, like 7 incredible locations. And they're in their 80s. And they're the oldest people on the flight, on the tour, and they were the most fit. You know, and the 60-year-olds who were there with them, and some 40-year-olds too, were like, how old did you say you were again? And they're like, we didn't really want to say, but you know, like 82, 86. And they're like, what do you do? And they're like, oh, well, Pilates for 25 years, 3 times a week, and swim and golf. Right? It's like, that's inspiring. That's amazing. Plus, I'm jealous. I want to go see all those places they went to, right? So let's look up. Part 5. Over, down, diving over. Reach up low and down. And then press down and lift. Just rises here. Let your gaze go from point to point, right? So you don't want to let your gaze like sweep like a lighthouse beacon. If you go from one point to another, that's also going to help you stabilize your balance here. You understand what I'm saying? So you're spotting basically how the dancers and skaters refer to it to help them keep their balance when they're moving in an unsteady environment. Our environment's stable, but we might be unsteady, so that helps us too. Up again. With the upper back extension, with the chest, center, and the arms come down. All right, and then we're going to stand to the side. And let's bring the leg up and out, rotating the leg externally. So you want the foot a little bit in front of your hip so that it's comfortable. And you have the leg in external rotation here with the thigh. Good. And then the arms can come out. And then we'll bring the hand on the side of the leg down, like hugging the ball right in front of your abs, the other arm up, and side bend towards the chin. Let it fall. Ear towards the lower shoulder. And then press your legs and lift. Pull it up from your hip to your waist, to your ribs, to your armpit, to your neck and your head. And now we're scooping to the other side. Diving over. Opening the rib cage here. Now be careful because it's not about how far you go. You want kind of a lifted curve and not just a hip hinge. So it's like you're coming up and over a round ball here. And then pull it on up. And we'll do it again. So over to the side. Now here you can even rest your hand on your leg if you want to, because that you might feel if you do that, you get a little bit more inner thigh stretch. Pull it up. Start from the hip and work up the side seam of your body. Now, there will be a tendency for the body to rotate. You guys don't look like you're doing it, but a lot of times people will rotate forward because they'll see if they get a little lower to the ground. But we're really trying to feel the stretch on your side line, on your side seam. Coming up, and then one more here, the other side. Go up, hip, waist, ribs. Lift the ribs one by one, and then we can lower the arms, lower the leg. You can just turn around if you want. I'm gonna take this to the other side. I gotta move back a little bit behind the chair. And then swing the leg up and out, rotate it externally. Feel how the two legs might be different. And then we first side bend towards the chair here. And then lift to pull up. And then to the other side, diving over. Press through your legs and lift up. Using the muscles, your obliques on the sideline of your body, and then dive it over. That leads the way. You want definitely to get a side bend through your neck. Press down to rise. Arms out, and sweep over again. Lift to pull up. And let's do one more set. Notice where you need a little bit more space and then stretch. Try to breathe into that as you go. come up and then lower the arms, lower the leg. And here, there's more to the series. We just have time to like, I'll be able to do one to the front, one to the side, and one to the back. So we're going to be facing the back of your chair, do your quad stretch. Then turn up here, and then bend your knee up, reach down to your foot, drop the knee to the floor, and try to swing it back and down towards the ground. The heel pulls in towards your glute, towards your sits bone. And if you want a little bit more stretch here in front of the hip, lightly press down through your hand on the chair back, and then lift the chest, lift the heart. And maybe even push the knee a little bit behind you. Similar to dancer, right, in yoga. Everyone feel that? As long as it feels good in the knee joint, you're fine. We expect to feel a stretch in the quad. And then you can release on out. Swing your hips side to side. Other side. You can pull the leg up. Drop hold of the top of the ankle, the top of the foot. If you're really tight in this, which, hello, we often are, you can always take like a leather belt or a canvas belt and wrap it around your foot and then hold on to. You guys all look good here, but. And try to bring the knees closer together. If you're tight, like on your IT band on the outside of the leg, your knee will flare open. Right, in that case, you're going to pull it back in. And then let the knee cat be heavy. Think of like the center of the knee pointing to the ground, filled with like heavy lead, like it's one of those fishing weights. And as the quad starts to open up, you lift the chest, press down with your hand on the chair, and then try to push the knee behind you as much as you can. We're not tearing anything, we're just trying to stretch it, so be gentle. And then we can pull the knee forward and release it down. Okay. And then just swing your hips a little side to side. Bend your knees, shake them out. Shaking muscles relaxes them. Okay. And then we are good for today. Thank you so much for being here.